Second, though I had always known that Christian history had its dark side, when I really began to study church history in earnest, I was overwhelmed at the extent of the holy horrors perpetrated in the name of Christ. Even Christian historians such as Paul Johnson wax eloquent recounting the persecutions, pogroms, crusades, witch hunts, inquisitions, religious wars, etc., whereby countless people were burned, butchered, tortured, and imprisoned by God-fearing fanatics. In his recent bestseller, Hitler's Willing Executioners, Daniel Goldhagen traces the long, disgraceful history of Christian anti-Semitism. The hatred sown in Martin Luther's rabid anti-Jewish diatribes was reaped at Auschwitz. Forrest G. Wood's book, The Arrogance of Faith, details the complicity of Christians in the genocide of American Indians and in the defense of slavery. Christian bigots today continue to promote the hatred of gay people. Again, I was not convinced by the standard apologetic line about the holy horrors. I was told that the people who perpetrated such things were not acting in the true spirit of Christ or in accordance with the true gospel message. But my friends, this rang hollow. It sounded too much like the apologetics of academic Marxists. You ever run into one of those, academic Marxists? Okay. It sounded too much like the apologetics of academic Marxists who admitted the horrors of Stalin's Gulag, but then denied that the Soviet Union was a true communist society. Surely, though, as Marx himself insisted, what matters is not abstract promises, but how a scheme works out in practice. In similarly pragmatic vein, Jesus said of false prophets, "By their fruits shall ye know them." Indeed.
What about the horrors of Christian history? Well, I certainly do agree that Christians have done many bad things down through history, but on balance, the record of the Christian faith is remarkably good. Kenneth Scott Latourette, the great Yale church historian, has written, "We have much to say about the effects of Christianity upon the collective life of mankind as a whole. Here has been the most potent force which mankind has known for the dispelling of illiteracy, the creation of schools, the emergence of new types of education. From Christianity have issued impulses for daring intellectual and geographic adventures. The universities were largely Christian creations. Music, architecture, painting, poetry, and philosophy have owed some of their greatest achievements to Christianity. Democracy, as it was known in the 19th and 20th centuries, was in large part the outgrowth of Christian teaching. The abolition of slavery was due chiefly to Christianity. So too were the measures taken to protect the Indians against the exploitation of the whites. The most helpful movements for the regulation of war, for the mitigation of the sufferings entailed by war, and for the eventual abolition of war owed their inception to the Christian faith. The nursing profession of the 19th century had the same origin, and the extension of Western methods of surgery and medicine to much of the non-accidental world was chiefly through the Christian missionary enterprise. The elevation of the status of women owed an incalculable debt to Christianity. No other single force has been so widely potent for the relief of suffering brought on by famine and for the creation of hospitals and orphanages. So that, yes, there have been atrocities perpetrated in the name of Christ, but on balance, Christianity has been the most potent force for good in the history of mankind. Secondly, I would simply say that when Christians have failed to live up to Jesus' example, that isn't an indictment of Jesus. Jesus wouldn't have been a guard at Auschwitz. Jesus wouldn't have been a persecutor of people who disagreed with him. He taught to turn the other cheek. And it's Jesus that I'm defending tonight, not the record of the Christian church, which so often